So my name is Packard, and I am running for treasurer. And I'm a current sophomore, and I'm majoring in finance and computer science. And I've been a member of student government since the beginning. So first semester freshman year, I got on board, and then I've been on student budget advisory committee this whole year. And what else? So basically, I'm running for the student budget advisory committee just because I was a member of, or the treasurer, because I've been a member of student budget advisory committee, and I just felt like I could do more. And seeing Catherine as a graduating senior, and I've worked a lot with her this year, I just felt like I could do more for the committee and make improvements. And I was also very good friends with the previous treasurer, Meredith Gay, before her. So I've been working a lot with her, and I just felt like there were a lot of places where we can make it easier, both on all the student organizations and the student budget advisory committee. So that's where I'm going to kind of transport it into my platform. Each of my goals is two-sided, so there's a way to make it easier on the student budget advisory committee, and there's a way to make it easier on the student organizations, because I don't think it's fair to ask a lot of student organizations if we're not doing the same on our side. So the first part of my platform is just meetings, and I want to make sure that the treasurers and their representative are meeting at least once a semester, just to clear up confusion, go over how they're doing as a organization, if they have any questions, because I know that didn't happen all the time this year, and it was really hard on organizations to submit budgets and even know how to get a reimbursement if they didn't have a good line of contact. And then also I want to make sure SBAC is meeting every week or every other week, so that way they can be clearing up confusion, so there's not a ton of pressure on the treasurer, just because 204 groups is a lot for a treasurer to handle. And then I also am going to have a lot of trainings, so both treasurers and presidents will be required to go to trainings, and they're going to go over all the handbook, who the representative actually is, the timeline for the year, and what the expectations are for the year, and even simple things like how to access their funds and how to get reimbursements, just so everyone knows how to do everything from the get-go, so there's less questions and confusion as the year goes on. And then also the treasurer, or the SBAC members, will be trained, so that way when groups come to them with questions, they can answer them and they don't have to defer to the treasurer all the time. So that way the SBAC is really their first line of contact, and they can get all their questions answered. And then my next part of my platform is budgeting. So when the process comes, it's a very short, like 3-week period where they submit, we review, they appeal, we review, and we send it off to the financial services. So I'm going to have all the SBAC reps come in before, go over their last year's budget, and also have them make their budget with me and the SBAC reps in the room, because this year we got so many budgets and people submitted last year's budget. Simple things like that, where they didn't even submit next year's budget, they submitted last year's budget, to clear up all those confusions, so that way there might not even have to be appeals. They just have it done the right way the first time, and that's not on them, that's on SBAC. But just clearing up all that confusion from the beginning. And then the last part of my platform is chartering. And there's probably 20 new groups each year, and they don't have budgets, but a lot of the things that they want to do comes from a budget, because it's hard to do things free around here. But so I want to make sure that the second they start their charting process, they're meeting with me or they're meeting with an SBAC rep, so that way they know what we can fund and what we can't fund. So we can't fund food, we can't fund airfare, we can't fund speakers. There's a lot of really simple things that a lot of groups want to have, but there's other ways to get it, just not through SBAC. So a charting isn't going to get you that. So I don't want a group to have their entire platform as a club be around things that aren't feasible through SBAC. It might be SAFE, it might be contingency, it might be capital. There's a lot of options, but I want to make sure they know what those options are before they start their charting process. So that way when they come to present to the Student Organizations Council, they are a successful group with a strong background, so that way SOC doesn't run into all those issues of, well, what are you going to do when you don't get any money? And that leads me into my last part, where part of chartering is being able to promote yourself at the activities fair and being able to reserve rooms. As I'm sure you guys know, it's really hard to do both of those. So I just want to make sure that all groups know that they are able to register for the activities fair. I'm going to make it so it's on the link, so any person who wants to have a booth at the activities fair can have one. If they're trying to get a charter, then they'll be able to be there, because it's hard to get members if you're not at that fair for the new freshmen. And then I also want to make it that, or to clarify, because a lot of people think only student organizations can reserve rooms, but actually anyone can reserve a room, but that's not really clarified, so I just want to make sure that people know that anyone can reserve a room by just going on Deacon's Space and typing 000 as your budget code. You can reserve a room. So that's basically my platform as a whole. So it's meetings, trainings, chartering, and budgeting. And just to reiterate, I really want to clear up all the confusion from both groups because they really need to work together well, fluidly, from both sides. So that's why there are two parts to all of my goals, just so it's not all the pressures on the student organizations. It's us working with them.